I'm kidding.
Music.
You can adjust your own individual music.
Yeah, I unfortunately have to turn down a lot of volume.
Oh, do we not do video?
You can. I usually don't, since I don't actually have a webcam on site.
I don't have one.
Oh, okay then.
But if you want to, you can.
I shall put my fancy hat away.
Oh no!
I mean, I did recently
have Bagger
get a
upload
webcam.
a picture
I
of
did
the
recently
hat.
get a webcam. I'm not there yet.
Yeah, no, fair. Just told you.
So, for whatever reason, you have made your way to Polythreme. Some of you may have grown up here. Some of you came here only recently. Regardless, you are all working currently at Quartermaines, a small contractor sort of specializing in all manner of just operations, protection details, investigations, anything really that comes up. You wake up today like you have for the last few days. There is very little light outside to denote the day. Here at Quartermaines, so close to the central supports of Polythreme, the sun doesn't pass by, since the entire district, at least where you are, is overshadowed by the upper district above. Even at noon, this part of the Mediocre district is locked in a perpetual twilight. Enough light is reflected from the outer sun-bathed ring of the Mediocre district to at least light up the inner district enough to see. Usually at this time you'd lie in bed for a bit until the noise of the two tinkerers becomes too loud to ignore, or someone knocks on your door, or boing, Reginald rings the bell. Something must be up. Usually the bell only rings for either emergency or things of a more time-sensitive nature. Again, the bell rings out. Bung. As you can see, I've all put you into respective rooms. Over here. All of which you can obviously customize over the course of the campaign. Since it is made in incarnate. So yeah. You have awoken, you know that you are called.
Ooh.
I suppose I'll
Okay.
get up.
Where
Go out the door.
are stairs? Right there.
You know, I would wake up and go and help out, but like, I've got some gadgets I really have to work on. Like,
Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am, hello? There's a knocking at your door.
what is it this morning? Can't you tell that I'm in the middle of work?
Yes, ma'am, but the other work seems to be calling.
Will it take much time?
No, ma'am. No, of course not. Just a short.
All right,
I'm
as long
sure.
as it's only going to be a short break.
Naturally.
Let's turn that down. I'm just fucking with my volume right now.
Where is the shortest way to where we want to be?
The stairs would lead you into the central landing, sort of the main entrance way
Mm-hmm.
into this. I guess you could call it a mansion. The ringing seems to come from the common room. As you enter the common room, sitting on one of the couches close to the fire, you can already see him in colorful, elaborate robes and a long grey-white beard, denoting his age. Reginald Quartermaine sits waiting. And as you enter, he perks up. He looks at all of you and oh, you're all here. Why did you? All right. Reginald starts patting down his robes, checking dozens of small pockets until he finally pulls out a small scroll. Ah, the scroll is crumbled, the seal already broken, and it is soot stained. You can make out multiple sets of fingerprints on the outside. Rather urgent matter it seems. I actually had something else for you, original favor for an old friend, but well, there was an explosion in the mines under Polythreme. It seems like a detonation gone wrong, cave in, and it got swarmed by mine crawlers. With starts scratching his head. All of the refugees and the officials have no men to spare, but Foreman is a friend, so he sent a runner here. Yeah.
So
So you just need to have us get them out?
Well, the message is rather short. I know someone will be waiting by the chain lift to the mines. Now, so you don't get lost, but yeah, sounds like there's some people trapped. Yeah.
Glooper disconnected. Glooper connected.
Okay, where are they?
Oh well, the mines are quite a bit of a walk away from here. If you take Central Shaft down, it's just it's close to the edge of the city. If you just follow the main road.
What was that? Okay.
No, it's not your usual undertaking. The foreman did promise pay. He didn't specify how much.
Well, best get to it then, I suppose.
Yes, that sounds prudent.
Shall we pack up our gear then and head out, or?
I mean, they did seem rather urgent, so I suppose that would be the best option, yes.
Oh, very good.
Let's not waste any more time then.
I will go get Dennis.
Dennis.
Dennis. I probably forgot to ask Beggar. Is there like a back to this place?
Well, as you can see on the map, you do have a rather large workshop on the right, as the mention.
Is there a
Free
big
to,
door for an exit
use.
though?
Sort of.
Sorta,
The exit from the workshop to the main hall would be rather large.
Okay. Doodle-doo. and I will get what I have named Dennis,
Mhm.
I guess, that I never found a picture to use for.
Your cat.
No, it's like a mech.
Hmm.
The closest thing I could think of was like Moses mech from Borderlands 3, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Only it doesn't close.
As you exit the common hall, you can sort of hear a sputtering engine start up. As Storks exits into the main entranceway on a medium-sized mech, sort of rickety, sputtering engine, sort of just bellowing puffs of black smoke into the air, and Dorks sitting atop of it in an open cockpit, urging it forward.
Mm-hmm.
The mines are, as Reginald said, quite a walk away from here. Despite being directly underneath the city, from here the fastest way down is near the central support. And then from there, either on foot or preferably with a chain lift, you still have a long walk along the lower base of the city ahead of you. The lower district is the largest district that Polythreme can boast, housing most of its sustaining industry, most of its workers, and all of its poor. The lower district stretches as far as you can see in front of your eyes as you descend on the rattling chain lift. And as you begin walking along the darkened streets here, even further away from the sun, even the reflections from the outside of the city aren't enough to lighten your surroundings. With all of the city's structures and levels of architecture, industry, and logistics in the way, on the ground can be hard to even see the sun in the distance. Here, the clockwork rhythm of industry is lit by large braziers and glowstones suspended on the many walls of the surrounding ocean of buildings. If a runner had come all the way towards Quartermaines, then the issue must be indeed urgent. Or there's another matter why the Colas Coalition did not want to deal with the guards of Polythreme. You can think of a few reasons off the top of your head. The difference between the medial and the lower district is immense. Despite only being separated by a single chain lift or a large flight of stairs, the difference grows worse as you pass by sections of slums on your way to the mines. Here, ramshackle huts are built atop more ramshackle huts. One could almost consider the slums a single building with a million rooms, none of them particularly comfortable. And as you walk further outside of the district to where large ramps lead down towards the mines, you're almost swept up in the mass of people rushing towards the same direction.
Hmm.
Someone
Like,
had
the rest of
once
people
claimed,
heading to the mines?
yes,
Okay.
someone had once claimed that the other fuel driving Polythreme's industry is desperate hands hungry for work. An observation that you can't really dismiss as you get pushed towards the entrance to the mines. The crowd here is a colorful mix of people, everything from tall Goliaths, elves, dragonborn to dwarves and goblins. Workers, refugees fleeing the great outside, and those fallen from grace. Ablin, Red, you've never really relied on the opulence of the upper district, nor what little of it can be found in the medial. Nonetheless, in everyday life, it's sort of become your standard. You have seen the squalor of the lower districts before, but every time you see it, it seems to become a little bit worse. Especially for Red, this life could have very much been your reality. Leah, at the beginning of after what happened, you had difficulty adjusting to this. Just a few years ago, you had been here. Talent, memories, and a few things you remember to have been tucked away for emergencies at least meant that you didn't have to suffer the lower district for too long. You managed to avoid the large waves of refugees that are now flooding the city. Soleil, you mostly just wonder how a city so massive can have such a divide in class. In Antok Ark, at least you could always be sure that you could find work and food. Work on the fields is never done, after all. Dogs, you don't really even notice the squalor. This was very much your reality for a very long time. Suffering does breed inventiveness, after all, and you remember your days here fondly, raiding the scrapyards of the bowels and building, working away in your tiny hut. Kara, on the other hand, has always been out of place here, especially clad in your shimmering plate. Eyes here have always followed you. For a while, so did trouble. Until people started realizing that nothing good ever came of it. Up ahead, in the crowd, the streams of people just sort of pool around the side of the street. The standing crowd forming an obstacle like a blood clot in the veins of the city. They gather around a small raised platform, a large wooden square propped up on boxes. Atop of it stands an orange dragonborn clad in heavy leather, cut to an apron, large shoulder pads, heavy long sleeves. A garb similar to what an alchemist would wear to protect against hazardous material, or a smith against splashes of boiling metal. The Dragonborn is flanked by two large figures, their identity fully hidden by the same garb, their faces covered with black lacquer masks shaped like a dragon's snout. They idly hold devices in their hands, connected to their backpacks with long hoses. And Soleil
Mm-hmm.
and I guess, Leah, you may give me a history check if you want.
I surely do. History.
You call that dice kitty die?
Yes.
The yarn ball.
I have +0 in history, so it's a 13.
I have a +3, so dirty 20.
Soleil, you've seen them before, but you can't quite remember what they were. They seem to be more common here in Polythreme. You've rarely seen them in Antok Ark. You, Leah, know exactly who these people are. They are cleansers. You've seen them in the early days, and you remember them vaguely. Fighting the blight with flame, not always the most delicate. And as you pass, you can hear the Dragonborn bellow out over the crowd. Are you not sick of being afraid? It slumbers within all of you the courage to stand, to be the ones fighting, to be the heroes, liberating. All of you can wield your heart in front of you earnestly and cleanse the land that has fallen to the blight alongside new brothers and sisters in arms. Kara, would you please give me a wisdom save?
Sure. I'm great at wisdom.
In between, do our characters have ever seen each other or worked together or not? Do we know each other's names basically?
I would say so. You've met each other before. You've been working at Quartermaines for a bit, maybe out of character, sort of for 2 or 3 missions.
Hmm.
Okay.
So we know the name. So we don't have to like start, my name is this. Hello there.
My name's Jeff.
Uh, 11.
Something stirs inside you. Clearly, these are lunatics, militants, oaths. But something in those words carries weight to you. Cleansing the blight with flame, the image warms your heart. A scene that is unabashedly righteous to you.
Just a nod towards the place, I guess. Or the cleanser.
Your gaze meets his for a moment and he nods in acknowledgement before he carries on with his semi-sermon.
Is this obvious to the rest of us?
What is your passive perception? Or what is everyone's passive
11.
perception?
15.
8.
Well, I mean, you're the one being
It's still
watched, so that's not...
it's just 8.
Soleil, you would notice that Kara, if just for a moment, sort of stops and looks at the priest, who looks back.
Soleil just looks a little bit like just bored and annoyed by this whole ordeal and just tries to walk past and get the job done.
Yeah, you continue onwards. The stream of people has sort of become just this massive wide river. You arrive at the ramps that lead sort of downwards just into the ground at the edge of Polythreme. And at the entrance or entrances to the mines, the mass of people starts dividing, forming crowded lines in front of the many different gates to be assigned work. Near the side, however, raised on a platform, you see a dwarf dressed in heavy leather worker's clothes, holding a large wooden sign. The name Quartermaine is smeared on it in large, very uneven letters, and he sort of blankly stares into the crowd, looking half asleep.
We all see this.
Yes.
Oh, thank goodness. Let's just get this over with.
Yes, quiet.
Head over to the sign. And the dwarf.
As you approach, you sort of as a group stand out very much from the stream of workers just pouring in. He immediately looks up, dropping the sign on the ground in front of him and hopping off the platform. Ah, you're the Quartermaines, Hans, eh?
Yes, that's us.
Alright. Well, we're taking the service way down. Just follow me in. Do you know the situation?
No,
Oh.
Reginald was
Alright,
bit,
let's walk and talk. He starts heading off to the side where a large, heavy door is set into. This door does not have any queues or crowds in front of it. So we've had a controlled detonation, you know, for mining, like we usually do. Except when we did, part of the cave just caved. Structural unintegrity or something. Whatever it was, the wall came down and we were swarmed by mine crawlers. You know what mine crawlers are? Nasty buggers. They've got armor plates hard as steel and thicker than goat shit. We've had to bring down the gate before they'd swarm the mine proper, but some good lads are left inside. Worst part is the Stomper took a hit in the blast. Shattered the gear and no replacements. The dwarf leads you through this gate on the side, unlocking it with a heavy key, backing you inside. Come, before the rubble thinks there is another way down.
Let's go.
Step
As the last
inside.
of you step inside, he closes the heavy door with a hefty, just reverberating whomp, and locks it again. Behind this door is a long corridor, lightly lit by more glowstone orbs hanging along the sides. And at the end of the corridor is another large chain lift. As the last of you steps onto the chain lift, the dwarf already hits the lever immediately. The chain lift sort of just sinks. And it takes you down several minutes, rattling down the shaft in a concerning speed. Rattling down the shaft feels almost like an eternity to you. Before suddenly bright entrances, other stops, presumably just sort of start flashing by as you descend further. After a few more seconds, the dwarf pulls the lever again and the lift starts slowing down. As another entrance comes into view, he pulls another lever and the lift comes to an abrupt halt. Everyone please give me a con save.
That's a dirty 20 for me.
70.
18.
Also have a dirty 20.
7.
16.
The sudden stop after the chain lift was sort of slowly slowing down comes a bit as a surprise. And you do manage to hold on. However, Dorks, you lose grip and you sort of tumble off of your mech before you manage to climb back on. The elevator isn't well aligned towards the entrance, and the dwarf on the platform sort of struggles for a moment trying to get up the step onto the ground. Beyond, already, a group of miners await you expectantly.
So, Mr. Dwarf, I didn't catch your name, but you expect us to clear out these mine crawlers? Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, not alone, but yeah, it's probably part. Name's Frederick. But the foreman knows more. You should talk to him.
Oh, I see.
And exactly where would we be finding him?
He motions
30 minutes
to
of time.
in front of you, basically right outside the chain lift. You can see one particularly uniformed dwarf stepping out in front of the rest. He nods, grasping his chest where his heart would be, with an open hand like a claw. A greeting common among walkers in Polythreme, a gesture of believers in the machine heart. Hey, you're the help?
Seems like it.
Good. We should get directly to work then. Come on out. And as you step out of the chain lift, you finally see the cave in its entirety. It is huge. The ceiling above is a giant dome of brass. Surrounding the chamber are numerous stretches of tunnels just leading off into the dark, railways stretching along their length. He turns around and the miners that flank him part to make space. He motions towards a large door. A heavy portcullis has been lowered to close it. Down there, When the mine crawlers came, we had to shut the gate, but there's a few good men trapped inside. Now, the mine crawlers usually stay away from the stompers on account of the noise they make and the shake, but it broke and collapsed. There is another abandoned mine shaft to the left with another broke stomper. There's gonna be crawlers in there too, but nowhere near as many. If we can get the B gear off of that one, we might be able to fix the other. Frederick also grabbed the long-range payload delivery device from the surface. He stares at you blankly for a few seconds before he answers again. That means cannon. No clue how we're gonna use it, but it's there. So, I mean, I know the mines, but you're the experts. What's the play? We're ready to open either of the gates anytime, but the clock's ticking.
So it sounds like it's a good idea to fix one of the stompers.
They don't like the noise that they make. Might help us. Regardless, we'd have to fight our way through the stomper first.
Well, along those lines of noise, is it something where they wouldn't like if we made other noises? Just the stompers?
Well, the stompers hit the they're used to crush the big rocks of the coal, so we get workable coal out of it. It's quite the shake. I think it's more that it's the crushing than it is really just noise.
I see. Yeah.
We've tried shouting at them before. It didn't really work.
Sure.
Just makes them angry, sort.
What does the cannon do down here? Is it some sort of defense mechanism?
Oh no, we just it's a friend of a friend of friend. We have a cannon. We just have a cannon, and he brought it down. I mean, this is a good.
I see. We're not talking about this anymore. Okay. But maybe we can use it somehow to our advantage.
I suppose we could strap it on the minecart, but I don't know where we would go from there.
Well, the cannon implies a large amount of gunpowder. Is that true as well?
We've got a barrel or two. We've also got some payloads from the controlled detonations that were not that controlled, it seems.
Sure.
Obviously.
But I suppose we wouldn't want to destabilize it too much more.
Well, the thing is, we don't really know what happened. The structural pillar that we left should hold up the cave ceiling, but in the first place, we're not really sure why the cave wall collapsed the way it did. Have not really the chance to check it out. We just ran, and even then, we had to leave a few people behind.
Are you the leader down here?
I'm the foreman. It's my section of the mines.
How shall we address you?
Oh, foreman is fine.
So, Mr. Foreman.
Just foreman is fine.
What does that matter?
So,
Coming in.
so you said the people are trapped through this big main gate. Is that correct?
Aye.
And then this
And,
one to the left is to
Aye,
the other
it's
stomper.
abandoned.
Right.
Correct. It's abandoned, out of order. No one really goes inside there. I'm sure a few crawlers found their way in there, but well, we don't know why the other one got swarmed the way it did.
I should probably
Is it
go
the-
through the.
You said that the stumper got swarmed?
Aye, the active one when we detonated and the cave wall came down.
Well,
So it's
perhaps
no
we,
longer scaring them away.
Well, both of the stompers are broke, but the abandoned one, It's just wear and tear. The other one, we know exactly what broke. The one of the ricocheted blast rocks just sort of hit one of the gears out of place. It's bent. We don't have any replacements, and it would take too long to make a new one. But we could take the one from the old one. The new one would take like a day to arrive.
Well, that makes sense. We go down, pick up the one from the abandoned Stompa and put it on the
New
one you got in that big room, and then start scaring them away again.
Hey,
Doesn't sound too hard.
so you'd be wanting to check the abandoned stumper then?
Sure, I mean, these two are more the experts on mechanical things. What do you
Mm.
two think?
Sounds easy enough.
A bit straightforward, I'm sure. We could get that taken care of. We'll go to the left first then.
Yeah, alright. Figured it'd be a good idea. I'll let Frederick let you in. Now, Stomper's on the other side of the cave. Just grab the gear and come back. You see any dead corpses that the crawlers made? Best maybe to just leave them be. No need to disturb.
No
Good to
need
know.
to disturb corpses that aren't there.
If you see any.
For clarification, is that just because it's social precedence of not disturbing the dead, or is there something that we should be concerned about?
Give me an insight check.
Oh,
It would be an 8.
Just, it's better to leave the peaceful dead undisturbed, I suppose.
Right.
He seems to be nervous, but you're not quite sure why. It might just be, the whole situation he's in.
Mm-hmm.
Can others
Alright.
of us make insight checks?
does he just seem nervous at all of us, or
Yeah.
He seems nervous about the mine of the abandoned stumper. Feel free to make an insight check.
He's sus to me anyway
yeah,
because of the
yeah,
cannon.
Okay. I'll make an insight check.
Yeah,
Good.
that's a 19.
He's
17.
definitely hiding something. I mean, if he mentions an abandoned mine shaft having possibly corpses in it, there might be another reason for the corpse,
Mm.
or why there were people in there in the first place if it is supposedly abandoned.
Okay.
Well, we shall be careful, of course.
Can
He
you
nods,
describe the part that we're
and-
looking for?
Come again?
Can you describe the part that we're looking for on the stomper that needs to be replaced?
Well, there is two furnaces on the side, and both of them feed into a beam, and it powers one large gear that powers a small one. But the one we're looking for is the large gear that is literally just underneath the stumper.
Alright. Well, let's stop dawdling, I guess.
What?
Alright. Frederick, let them in. And have two of the men stand by in case there's a crawler waiting at the entrance. Frederick sort of heads past you towards the left gate, and after checking inside through the entrance, sort of just looking through the bars for a few moments, he hits a lever and the gate starts moving upward.
to head in.
So. Ugh. Where am I? Alright. Ah!